for those of you who don't know about us, we have a diverse panel of attendings, residents, journalists, MBAs, and we help IMGs in the application process, interview process, and SOAP and anything related to the match after your scores. Look us up. We have a very high match rate of about 87% over the past 4 years now. This is our website. We have a free blog here. Have a lot of guest blogs, so this will be very helpful to you. And this is our contact information. So now on scores, and a lot of questions on score. So the first question is, I have completed all my steps. I have time till September for applying, and I'm still not a graduate. So this person is still a student in medical school. I want to know how best to utilize this remaining time. So I guess between now and September, what should this person be doing?
So yeah, you hardly have three months before you apply for the residency. Again, if you're still a graduate, it's always best to do clerkships in the U.S. That's the best way to utilize your time. If you're not getting any clerkships, then just do observerships or externships, or at least try to get into research at someplace.
Okay. Next question. If the step 1 score is low, how much of clinical experience is needed? This is slightly vague, but, with a low step score, how much USC should one kind of target to get matched?
So again, low step 1, right? I don't know how low you're talking about. For some people,
right.
Low. For people, 230 is low. I don't think the clinical experience is correlated somewhere to your step 1 score. Always get as much as clinical experience as you can. If your step 1 score, if you think it's low, then try to better it on your step 2 CK. Get done with your CS, and if you have a chance, also get done with your step 3. The other thing that really helps is getting a very good letter from your either clinical experience or from the research experience.
Okay. Next question, again, some variation we get every time. There's a big jump from, say, step 1 to CK. So in this case, step 1 is 221, CK is 246. Does the application filter out based on my step 1 score alone? That is the first question. Then do program directors appreciate the increase in CK?
So if that program has a filter for us, let's say the filter is 230 or 240 in step 1, then yeah, there is a chance of your application being screened out. But if they don't have such filter, then definitely they will appreciate your rise in the CK score. It's a very good jump. It's like 25 points jump, so that's a very good. They know that you're working hard. Which score is more important? I don't think in this case it matters, because they see that you have improved from your step 1 to step 2 CK. So sometimes, let's say, if the programs mention in their website that they say the step 1 cutoff is 230 or 240, I would still apply to that program, and if needed, you can email them saying that, like showing them your scores, like how you improved from 221 to 246, and they can always consider your application later on.
Okay. I'm getting some questions. So guys, we will take questions once we go over the questions that we received from Facebook. If you did not submit it, then you have to just wait your chance. Wait for your time till we go over these questions. The next one is, step 1 and CK are in 30s. Should I apply without CS? I'm planning to take it in October.
Yeah, if you're an IMG, I think even for the American grads, they want CS to be there. So I would definitely, if it were me, I wouldn't apply without CS.
Okay. All right. That's clear enough. Next question on scores. What are my chances if I'm a 2008 graduate? I'm working as a general practitioner, I guess, GP, and preparing for step one. So they're still preparing for step one. I assume they will not be able to apply this year if they're just getting started. But it's a 2008 graduate. What do you recommend?
So it's just like anyone else. Like as the year of graduation increases, the chances of matching kind of go down. But that said, there are people who match with like 7th place or 8th place, 10th place year of graduation. So it just depends on your persistence. If you're very interested in coming to the US to doing a residency, then I would say definitely go ahead with that. Get done with your steps sooner. I think it's already June and you're still preparing for step one, so you may not be able to apply this year. So at least try for next year, and if your scores are good and if you're able to convince them that you have been working towards your goal in this last 10 years, then I think you can still match.
Yeah. Then, of course, we start getting into details of, my step one is less than 210, CK more than 240, year of graduation 2014, 9 months of USC, 8 months of IMLOR, which specialty should I apply, and chances of matching. Of course, NRMP has a big probability assessment, and we've done a video on that. What are your chances based on the score? So do look that YouTube video up, but let's answer this question. 2014 graduate, CK more than 240, step one less than 210. Which specialty is right?
Okay, so when it comes to which specialties to apply, I usually never recommend anyone to apply to a particular specialty because that is based on what you're most interested in. If you're just interested in matching into some specialty, then if you can see the NRMP data, the chances of IMGs matching into specialties, it's usually people like psychiatry or pediatrics, internal medicine is where they have most chances of matching. But let's say you're interested in surgery alone and you want to apply to surgery, I would still recommend you to apply into surgery, but just try to get into a research position in surgery, do it for like an year, and that would definitely increase your chances of matching.
Yep. Okay. I guess this is the last, maybe the second last year of graduation. So this is still a student from India in the intern year. So with 5 months to go, I guess, for graduation, should USC be the priority or step one? So I'm assuming, the student will apply for the next match, so for the 2020 season, because they're still studying for step one. What should be the priority?
So both are important, both USC and step one, but I would say definitely if you have to give a preference to one of these, then definitely step one. The scores are much more important. But so what you can do is apply for a clinical experience, like some applications to programs, to hospitals now while you're studying for your step one. Study for step one, give you a step one. In this meantime, if you get an elective from some of the hospitals, then you can schedule for it after your step one is done. Let's say you get all rejections at this point. Then once you give your step one, reapply to all these places with your step one score. That will increase your chances of getting the clerkships again.
Okay, good. The next question is not really clear because it says I will graduate after the match. I'm assuming it means after September 15th, not after the match. So if I graduate after September 15, could it affect my match chances and number of interviews? Because I won't be able to get ECFMG certification by that time.
I mean, there are people who graduate after September 15, have their ECFMG certification by October, and they still get good number of interviews and match. But I think this question is probably trying to ask after March 16th.
Oh, what if I graduate after the rank order list, or if I match? So
yeah,
after March.
I think that might affect the chances because the programs have to know that you're going to graduate for sure. So
yep.
I think that can affect the match chances or the number of interviews you get. And it's especially difficult for an IMG. Even the AMGs, they like to make sure that they're going to graduate soon after September.
Yep, yeah. Another question, kind of vague without any specifics. I'm a 2014 graduate. Chances of applying this year and next year. I have no other information, so I don't know what we can say.
So yeah, it just depends on your what you're doing right now, like if you're done with your steps or not. If you haven't finished your CK or CS, then definitely your chances this year would be low. And it depends on, and the other thing it depends on is your clinical experience or the research experience.
Okay, good. All right, so just some of the other questions, and I will show you our YouTube page before we open up. Very common questions, you can Google those or go to our YouTube channel. My scores are X and Y, can I match? NRMP has done a statistical analysis on this. We've done a lot of videos on YouTube. Which specialties are easy for IMGs to match? A lot of questions. Again, YouTube channel you should look at. I'm a repeat applicant. One of our panelists actually did a very good blog. You should look up this. Let's help IMGs. And now let me also show you where, a lot of questions again and again. So the YouTube channel, just go to YouTube, punch in USMLESarthi. You will get all our videos. You can subscribe to that. And before we open up for questions, Dr. Raja Chandra is part of our panel, as you can see here. We help IMGs in their personal statement application and interview prep. We've had about 87% match rate, and our enrollment is now on for the next season. So if you are interested, please get in touch. But let's open up now for other questions. So that was all the questions we got from the Facebook, and let's open it up. Would a 20-point score drop in CK from a high step 1 hurt my chances? So CK is less than step 1 by 20.
Again, all these questions about the scores, no one can answer it for sure. It's all based on the assumptions of how it went in the past year. So I mean, it depends on how high your step 1 score is, and that 20-point drop. Let's say if it dropped from 240 to 220 or 220 to 200 or 260 to 240, but it might be seen as a red flag by some of the programs, but that shouldn't affect your chances of matching. There are people who had low CK score compared to step 1, but they're still able to kind of answer that in their personal statement or when they go for an interview. I've still seen a lot of such people matching without any problem.
Okay. Again, there is a question, do the filters consider step 1 or CK for filtering? Anil, we already answered it. Some programs have both. Some may have only one. We don't know. It depends on the program.
So even if some programs write in their website that they have this, their cutoff is this, I've still seen people with lower scores than that get an interview. So I would still recommend you to apply to that program.
Okay. I want to apply for neurology and IM, but I have mixed USCE in both. Do I need to go for research for neurology? So someone, Shobha, wants to apply for neurology and IM and has mixed USCE. Should she go in for research for neurology?
I mean, as you mentioned that you have USC in both and you're applying for both, so definitely you can go into research into either of the fields. There are people who could only get research in neurology but still apply to IM and match into IM.
Okay. Archana is saying I need help. Okay. Archana is saying I need help with PS interview prep. When should I enroll in your program? Archana, the program enrollment is on. You can enroll anytime. Call us or send us a WhatsApp on this number on your screen. Momita is saying, I've worked in an online healthcare site as a physician since 2014. Can I use this to cover my gap? So online healthcare site as a physician.
So I think anything that you have done related to the medicine field, you can use it to cover your gap.
Okay. Okay. How important is step 3 before September for the match?
Before September, it's not a compulsory. I mean, if you have a step 3 and if you have a good score, then it's a good thing to have before September 15, because a lot of programs like to see that you're done with all your steps and it won't be a problem later in the year. But and especially if you want a H1, then definitely try to give you a step 3 before you match. It's mainly for the H1 process, and then also to just let the program know that you have done with all your steps.
Okay, my J1 research visa is in process. It will begin in July. Should I wait or should I go for other USCE? That was the question I saw.
July is just like next month. So in this 1 month, if you can get something, then definitely go for it. But if that research is in a good place and in the field of your choice, then definitely go for research in July.
Okay. How important is step 3 for an old graduate with good step 1 and CK scores and who do not need a visa?
I mean, just like I said earlier, if you have a step 3 score, it's very good because your program, I mean, if you have a good score on it, that would definitely help too. But and just because you said you're a very old graduate, you had your other steps done, I would definitely recommend you to get this done too. But having said that, not having a step 3 shouldn't affect your chance.
Should I mention unrelated jobs on my CV, or how else can I explain my gap? So I guess they did unrelated to medicine jobs.
So in the CV, it asks for your work experience, volunteer and research experience. A lot of people do keep, almost everyone keeps something that's related to medicine on it. If you can fit your unrelated to medicine job in there, then definitely like in the volunteer section or somewhere you can mention that to cover your gap, or you can always mention that in your CV, what you had been, in your PS, like what you were doing in that time, or you can just answer them at the time of interview.
Okay, if my attending is changing every week, how can I ask for an LOR? So I guess it's an inpatient kind of a rotation, attendings can change. So what do you do if you have multiple 2 or 3 attendings in a month? How do you ask for an LOR?
Yeah, so this is a very common scenario that most of us face when you're doing an elective or observership. I even made a post recently, last week, about what to do if your attending is changing every week or every other week. There's hardly anything we can do at that point, but in that 1 week, try to spend as much time as possible in the hospital so that he can observe you well and he can give you a letter. So even if it's just 1 week, I would still go and ask for a letter, because that's how it's going to be even in the other electives. So either on the 3rd day of the rotation or at the end of the rotation, you can ask him for a letter.
Okay. Old graduate from India, MD pathology, no USCE, step 1 done. They will only be able to complete CK and CS by January, I guess. What do you recommend?
Let me read that question. Is that the Sanoba old graduate?
No. Yes. Shall I apply 2019 by rushing and completing my steps? As I've heard, next match is going to be difficult. Everyone here, the next match is always difficult. That is very common.
I've been applying without CK and CS.
Not going to help, right?
I don't think they'll give you any interviews because it's a criteria for most of the places. CK and CS. Right. CS is, I think, is compulsory. So definitely, if you can't get it done by this match, apply in next match.
Right. How do you know about how to know about filtering in the programs other than FRIDA? So I guess they want to know what are the filter criteria program uses.
Just go to the program's website and find out. It should be mentioned in their in this department's information. If you don't see it there, then probably don't have filters. But if you really want to know the filters, then email the program coordinator.
Okay.